and see what it says. When it tells me I'm
Actually,
live,
hang
I
on
guess
just a second. I think I might be on a
Nope.
fire call.
We're live.
Oh, never mind. It's not
But
me. It's a different department.
okay. People are going to be like, what was that?
Doesn't
So,
matter. It's none of your business. That's what it is. People that are live. I think I might be on fire. Oh, I'm getting a horrible echo. I'm gonna mute.
yeah, what
That
was
was
that?
no, that was me. I came on and logged on. Hello, everybody. All right, I've muted.
Okay. Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 288. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Chad Wallace from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for all things firearms related. In this show, we'll be doing a book review and talking about pistol stuff. And of course, Rob is working or something like he said last week. So we have Tony and Zane. And, I'm going to go first with what I did in firearms because these guys are doing something. All I did was write a book review, which you'll hear about later. And just yesterday in the mail, I got a Velocity Systems. They make the triggers. They make an adjustable gas block. So I got that in for a pistol build that I will be doing. That is pretty much it. So looks like Zane wants to go first because he's pouring himself like 30 millimeter shot glasses or something.
30 millimeters of bullet tenure. Legit. What's the word? Whatever. Doesn't matter. So what I did in guns this week, absolutely nothing in actual guns. But I did become a certified stop the bleed instructor through an organization. I'm completely blanking on the name because I've been drinking too much. But anyways, I've done a couple stop the bleed courses and I decided I want to start teaching that. And so I found an instructor level curriculum and I did that. And so now I am certified to teach the stop the bleed curriculum. So and I think that's important.
Is really
just
awesome.
As, if not more important than firearm.
Yeah, man, congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, I think it's important, man. I think it gets overlooked a lot through the gun people. I don't think it gets overlooked from the from people in general. I just think gun people overall are just like, yeah, I got my gun, but we tend to forget that. Well, if you're under 45, the leading preventable cause of death is penetrating trauma. So, we should probably think about that.
Yeah.
It's not just gun people, dude. Most people don't think about first aid or get first aid training. The annoying part about, at least for me, for some gun people is, oh, I'm ready for everything, and showing you their EDC with, their gun, their knife, their flashlight, their fidget spinner, their handkerchief, if you guys still remember when that was a thing. It's all this gear and no first aid equipment whatsoever. And it's like, yo, guys, really, if you really want to be prepared, one thing that can help you be more of an asset to the community is the ability to provide medical.
Yep.
That's important too. But whatever. So what I had going on was, of course, we had the diversity shoot.
Before you go into that, I'll back up on that. Like, so I posted a picture in one of the those groups on Facebook of, I went down to the beach today and I was literally carrying a 5-shot, had my key ring that's got some OC spray and a tourniquet. And I'm like, oh, guess I get killed in the streets today because I don't have 17 knives and 5 reloads, And it's just like, honestly, if you got some basic medical knowledge and medical stuff, some kind of a firearm, and I personally like OC for lots of reasons that we could talk about for like 8 hours, but I'm gonna pass on. You're prepared for most stuff. So honestly, the medical, you're more likely to die from, honestly, you're more likely to die from heart disease than anything else. So, do some cardio. But if you're under 45 and you're male, hey, but you're losing weight, but you're on the, hey, but you're working on it. I know. I follow you on Instagram. But seriously, one of the leading causes of death in people under the age of 45 is preventable trauma. It's bleeding. You're literally bleeding to death. So
all right, Tony and I passed that age, so yes.
Right. So now we're going to talk about heart disease.
Hey, listen, I still got to watch out for the police, but it is what it is. What else? Oh, so diversity shoot came about. It was awesome. We had a whole lot of new people, and also we had the first appearance at a diversity shoot of the SBF, which is from Modern Materials. It's our firearm in Jersey that's legal, has like a 12.5-inch barrel. Overall length is over 28 inches, has the SB pistol brace on it and a vertical grip. Somehow it's not a AOW, it is not a SBR, it is not a pistol, and it's not a rifle. So it is a firearm. So that appeared at our diversity shoot, and then 3 days later, we had the Minuteman Challenge at Fort Dix, where Troy's version of the very same thing appeared alongside Modern Materials' version of it. So we had two of those show up at our AR-15 Minuteman Challenge. So that was pretty cool. So what did I do? I hosted events where everybody else shot except me. I just tactically fondled some stuff and hosted the event. So I've been staring at some stuff online, thinking about building my own version of this firearm. Have no idea whether I'm going to do it or not, mainly because it only looks cool. Outside of that, I mean, 16-inch barrels kind of mid-length kind of worked for me. And that's what I did.
Awesome. Well, at least somebody on here does stuff, you and Zane, because of course, like I said, I didn't do anything. So, announcements. Bandwidth sponsor, Patriot Patch Co. It doesn't look like they have any new patches for pre-order, but the September patch of the month is the Statue of Liberty's hand torch, and it says what?
Libertas. I really like this one, and I'm like eagerly awaiting it.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, it's a good looking. At least the picture online looks good. So there's that. Go order the patch of the month because you will not be disappointed. If you want to check out firearms content videos, check out gunstreamer.com. And if you're shopping Amazon, use the firearmsradio.tv/Amazon link. I'm not sure what Zane's doing, so
Zane can't drink alcohol without having a chaser.
Oh, okay, I got it.
No, I can. I just okay.
Didn't we have one of these shows like
that
4 shows back or something?
Drinking that Jameson trash, dude. I'm drinking Bullet 10 years.
Uh-oh.
Like, get on my level.
You hear it, right? You hear him, right? He's starting to slur. Nice.
Already. we're like 5 minutes in and he's slurring.
It doesn't matter. What are you drinking, Chad? Welcome to the Firearms Insiders Bourbon or Whiskey Drinking Contest. Or
yeah, I actually,
or I can't say.
I only went and grabbed the whiskey because I was just having a beer and then everybody else was drinking whiskey. So I went and got my small bottle of Redneck Riviera. But I don't know if I'm going to be drinking it.
It's all good.
Yeah, actually,
you should.
It's better than I thought, especially for what it is. So who wants to read the disclaimer? I think Zane should.
Oh, nice. Go ahead, Zane.
All right, I'll read it. I just got to find the effing show notes because I don't have them pulled up.
Oh, yeah. Zane forgot what day it was today.
Yeah. So, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-host and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. This is not legal advice, nor should it be considered as such. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on our live shows.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually have a review. It's kind of something different than we normally do, but it pertains to firearms to some extent. What we have is it is build a custom 1022 step by step. It is by Amilcar Hernandez. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. But
Never heard of her.
yeah, basically, one of the reps asked me if I wanted to look at the book and do a review on it or do more with it. And I was like, that could be interesting because I like 1022s. Zane, of course, only likes the recoil of 1022s. uh, so, and as everybody knows, almost everybody owns a 1022. They're fun guns to own, shoot, so there's this book. I didn't put too much in the review because, like I said, it's a book. It kind of walks you through stuff. It's kind of a do-it-yourself style book. He takes you through the process literally step by step, like it says. It's 175 pages long. Not all of it is how to build it. Some of it is other stuff. It reads pretty quickly. I did read it front to back, so it's not like I didn't read it. First up, introduction, things to consider. The intro is really just that. It's an intro. But the things to consider chapter, goes through what to determine what your rifle you're building or modifying is going to be used for, like plinking, hunting, target shooting, and then it goes into a little more on each one of them. Then, of course, you got the layout of the book. It walks you all the way from the chapter on budget to a chapter on lubricants. Each chapter kind of builds on itself. It's pretty useful. There's also references in every chapter, like, gives you like web pages or all different kinds of parts. I did in the review on the Firearms Insider, I did post a picture of the contents. That way you can kind of see which chapters do what as they walk you through everything. I thought the most useful part of the book is the hands-on explanations. Like in the bolt chapter, for instance, it goes into how to polish the bolt, the advantage of polishing it versus not polishing it. The barrel chapter goes through like different types of 1022 barrels, because there are the thread in style, the press fit style, the standard loose press fit with the little block that holds it on, so there's, a lot of good stuff in there. Trigger sections fairly lengthy, probably should be, and then it moves on to like stock selection, magazines, types of different like target ammunition, hunting ammunition, sights, if you want optics.
Hey, are you on the content page right now? Are you breach? Oh, okay,
but I have a book. What do you want?
No, what I'm wondering is exactly how short is the part on lubricant, because that should probably be
it's like one page. It's pretty short.
That's what it should be. That's what it should be.
I mean, it basically says, here are some lubricants. Use whatever you want.
Okay. Because so many people put so much into it, and I'm like, just stop.
Stop. I mean, I'm going to it now because, okay, let's see. I got to get to the right page here. Oh, it's like 1.5 pages. And it gives you a chart of like types, grease, dry lube, oil, and really, what you want, like water resistance, wear resistance, stuff like that. It's pretty simple on the lubricant section, but they do take lube, so you just don't need a ton of it. Let's see. Now you got me all confused. I found the book to be a wealth of knowledge, actually, and Mr. Hernandez has compiled over the years. It also has a lot of, like receivers. If you want to build like receivers, it says who makes them, what the differences are, how to tune a trigger, stuff like that. It's a really good book. I learned things along the way, which is always good. So anybody who reads it or buys it will probably learn something. My favorite part of the book is the gallery section at the end. It has numerous 1022 builds. It has a short list of build sheets, which parts were used, etc. It's kind of one of those books I'll probably set around and look at 100 times over the years. You just pick it up, kind of look through it, and say, "Oh, that's interesting." I also go ahead, Tony.
No, I think this book is a good idea because there's enough stuff now. I mean, heck, Brownells tells almost everything you need to build 1022, even on the Brownells receiver. And we're getting to the point now with YouTube, because that used to be the go-to place to learn how to build something, but they're forcing that content off. So you might be stuck, eventually just having stuff still in books. So if you have a good step-by-step book, it's good to have that.
Well, another thing nice with books is that you can, if you're doing something on your workbench, you can set it there, turn the pages. Who cares if they get greasy or oily, but it's a lot easier to look at an actual book than it is to look at your phone, your little tiny phone, as you're trying to do something with your firearm. In the review, there is a picture of a couple of his builds with, build sheets, kind of, and so I liked it, and it's not as involved as, say, a build from scratch machinist style book, but the Build a Custom 1022 book has lots of good information. I'm thinking you could set it on your coffee table. Friends can look at it, look at the pictures, figure out that they might want to build a 1022. And like Tony said, since everything is out there now, it's just something else you can build, kind of like an AR, and I did say that I probably would have overlooked this book on Amazon, which is where you get it. It's kind of one of those things, if you pick it up and see it, you appreciate it, but just, reading the thing on Amazon, it's kind of like, it's just a 1022 book. So, I appreciate what went into it. I'm actually glad that I was fortunate enough to get a copy. So, I'll go through the Firearms Insider 8 key points. They're a little.
Before you do that, I'll just say that, hard copy books are nice to have around. I have
it's soft cover though, but
hardcover soft, legitimate books, dead tree books is what I mean. Tangible stuff. I have a couple laying around that I still haven't read that I need to. One of which is the blue book for guns. I've never opened it, but it's nice to have.
You've never opened it. You should at least look at it. They're cool.
I have one copy that I've opened. I have one copy that's still sealed that I've never opened. And then I have books from John Lott and stuff. I have lots of gun books, and it's they're nice to have laying around. They sit on my coffee table or when people come over, they'll be like, "Oh, what is this?" They're a conversation starter, if nothing else. You should absolutely read them, but if you're like me and don't read much, then there's still a good conversation piece, and it's like you say, when the big igloo goes down and the internet shuts off, and hey, we got to have information, right?
Again, if they're taking it, if they're editing information, if they're pulling it off, you never know when that content will disappear. And if you have a book, guess what? Unless they come and take it off your shelf, you still have that information. Something about 1022 bills, though. If anybody out there follows Major Pandemic, I haven't seen anything from him in a long time. Do you guys follow him at all? He does a blog. He also has a YouTube channel that hardly has anything on it. Well, he went through a phase where he started dropping mad money building 1022 bills. And it is just the coolest thing to watch on his blog, man, because it's like regular 1022, target 1022, the highest end possible 1022 you can build. I mean, he said he'd got like some money back from taxes or selling something and just decided to go all out and do 1022 builds to see how far his imagination could take him. And it was pretty cool. I mean,
well, and nowadays,
variety.
nowadays they're even having like, 300-yard, 200-yard competitions with 22s, which if you only have, say, a 250-yard range, it's great practice for long range shooting. I mean, you got a little 36, 40 grain bullet going out there, and yeah, you can shoot that far. It's just, kind of a matter of if you do it.
It really is precision rifle. Precision 22s is like the little brother to precision rifle competitions that can be done on almost any range in the country.
Right.
That's outdoor. I think it's 200, right? That's how far they go.
I think so. I'm not certain. I haven't looked into it. I know I've shot my 22s at 200 yards just because the range we have has steel gongs out there at 200 yards. So you just shoot them just because. But we'll get back to the review here. Claim to Fame. It's a book detailing how to go about building 1022s. Target market. I guess anybody who wants to upgrade or build their 1022s. I mean, the features and benefits, it's kind of the same. It describes what to do, where to go for your 1022 build, and it is a paperback book. I figured I'd throw that in there. The other versions available, you can get it in a Kindle version, which is cheaper, or if you have like one of the Kindle things, you can get it for free, I think. I couldn't find any other reviews. Imagine that. There's some press releases on it. There's a link to what somebody else is saying on Amazon. Price point, it is $29.99. The only place I know you can get it's Amazon and maybe some bookstores. Retail, I said $15.99 to $29.99 because the $15.99 is the Kindle version. So if you need it now or whenever, get it at Amazon. So for our ratings, the pros, it is easy reading. I mean, Zane could probably read it. It's got lots of good photos, actually. I like the way the chapters were organized. The gallery section, of course, has build lists in it, which I thought was kind of nice also. And it has some minor gunsmithing instructions for you. The cons, I don't know if I got like a pre-version. There are a few grammar and spelling issues, which if I noticed them, I guess that's kind of there. The web links that are in them might be outdated someday. But if the internet's still around, you can just look up new stuff. It is a little pricey for a soft cover, not terrible. So those are the cons. But I did give it, a 7.5, which is good. So, it's probably something worth throwing on your coffee table, especially if you like books. I like having books like this. That's just me. I think Zane's trying to say something now. No. Okay. Well, so since we kind of discussed stuff as we were going, we will move on to product spotlight and discussion. First time up, whatever. Strike Industries is making a Glock slide. It's called the ARK. MSRP is $369.95. Okay, it's a Glock slide. I'm done. No. It is made from 17-4 stainless. It's for 19s right now. Gen 3 is the slide. It's got a black nitride finish. It has 4 custom ports exposing the barrel, 2 on each side. They're kind of rectangular on the. It is pre-cut for a red dot universal mount, which basically mounts every red dot out there some way. It does have front serrations. Let's see if I'm missing anything. They say it's lightweight. I don't really know if it's any much different. I could go into the product specs, but it doesn't really matter. The package does include the slide, large posts, small posts. I think that's for the different, and a bunch of different screws for the different sights. The only reason I put this in here is, one, everybody seems to be building Glocks, but it's kind of a neat looking slide from my standpoint. But it kind of depends on what you want to do. I mean, it's nice looking. It is DLC coded. It's cut for a red dot. It's got pretty much everything that everybody wants. I guess you can get if you pre-order it, you can get a free set of their modular blade sights, which we talked about, I don't know, like 4 months ago or something. So, that's a good deal. I've been Strike Industries has been coming out with a lot of stuff. They just constantly are coming out with stuff, which I like. Some of their stuff I like, the guys like. Some of the other stuff I don't think so. So, this is one of those, everybody else is doing it, they might as well. I liked it. Who knows? Wait and see. I guess they're going to have a G17 one soon too. Tony, Zane, anybody alive?
It's a clock.
No, so it looks good. I for one am not a huge fan of windows in slides, no matter what manufacturer.
Which I knew.
From.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's not a big deal, because we've been using a Beretta 92 in the sandbox for going on 20 years now, and we're not having major issues with it causing problems. I just unless you need to do it to reduce weight, I just why open it up for crap to fall in there? I understand it's not a problem. It's just a thing with me. I like the nose of the gun. I like the way they beveled out the very nose end. I almost wish they wouldn't have done a universal cut. Just cut it. Just cut it for an RMR and tell everyone else to go F themselves. I'm sorry, but that is that's the cut, man. Seriously, the universal stuff with the plate systems, and I'm just not a fan. Just cut it for an RMR and force the optic manufacturers to start making all their optics to fit it. That's just kind of where I'm at. No, it looks good though. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't have any personal experience with any of their stuff, so they look good. I'm sure it's functional. The cut's good.
Hey,
I don't know. I'm not running out to buy one.
What generation of Glock was started to be made in America? Was it 3? Was it 4 or 3?
I think yes. I think in Gen 3 they started doing both places, and then I think they're still making Glocks in Austria and in the US.
No, I just find it funny that they have big giant letters made in the USA as if the freaking Glock wasn't made in Austria. But
that's fair.
Yeah,
and they're only offering for Gen 3, and it's no one's running Gen 3 Glocks. Well, that's not fair. A lot of people are. But
a lot of people running Gen 3s.
Well,
and truly, it was.
Yeah.
You got to think.
You're talking to a dude. I run a Gen 2. I run a Gen 2, so, nothing fits what I have.
I will say, Tony, just for your information, that, Gen 3 might work. The reason I say that is because we did take one of my Gen 3 slides and put it on a Gen 2 frame, and it worked.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I would also have to be willing to spend money on this, and that's not happening. It's just really not. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. I'd really like to be part of it, but we know what my funds go to, and it's not this. You know what I'm saying?
So when they send you one for free, you'll try it out.
They send me one for free. That sucker will be slapped on my Glock Gen 2 so fast it'll make your head spin. On my but until then, no. I have nothing. I find nothing wrong with these. These are easy upgrade. It's one of the things about a Glock. You can pretty much replace every piece on the Glock with something not made by Glock. So hey, hooray for them.
Yeah.
This is. I think this is good. Sometimes I crap all over Strike Industries. I don't find anything wrong with it, and of course, at least they stick with the formula of giving you a video that absolutely gives you no damn information whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I get you. At least
Yeah,
their website
they
tells you.
don't really have good pictures.
No, the website tells you stuff, but if you click on a video
Yeah.
and think you're getting more information, no, you're not. You're
You're-
getting really slick video. I mean,
No.
and it looks great.
You're getting a commercial.
Yeah, but I'm like, I could you go a little more in depth, because you can talk for like 3 minutes and give me every nook and cranny on this without me having to read it. But okay, no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's
Well-
the thing: there's so many people cutting slides right now that it's like, man, it's hard to figure out who to trust and who not to trust. Now, this is a slide that comes cut. This is not you sending yours off and getting it cut. So there's that. But man, there's so many people cutting slides. You would almost have to like get one and run 1,000 rounds through every one, and so it's hard to say yay or nay on anyone's stuff. But based on the very few pictures they offer, it looks
Well,
fine. I just don't like universal.
My question is
optic
this,
mounts. Like, cut it for the
Like,
RMR.
you know, Faxon has their, what's it called? Is it FX19?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yep.
They have theirs, but you know they do barrels, they do slides, and you know they probably shot the snot out of them and just abused the crap out of them before they released it, because that's the thing they do. Strike Industries does a lot of everything.
Yep.
I mean, how much time, R&D, abuse do they dedicate to anything that they sell? I'm not saying they don't. I'm just asking a question that if your
Right.
catalog is that broad, how much testing do you do or can you afford to do? And the price they're charging is not significantly more. Actually, it's a little less than a lot of the other companies. I
Yeah,
mean, sorry, but
it's kind of
this
in the
thing looks
middle.
like agency.
Yeah.
This thing looks like agency cuts and stuff.
Well, and the thing is, like, I don't have to question the. I don't have to question the good to go-ness, if that's a word, of agency. I don't have to question, you know, the if I send something off to ATEI,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Because they have a reputation in the market, like, so okay, but you're also going to pay more from them. I've never received anything from Strike Industries. I've never used any of their stuff. I'm not saying they're trash. I'm not saying they're great. What I'm saying is they don't have the same reputation that other companies
They
have.
also don't have this.
So take
They
that
also
for
don't
what
have the
it's worth.
same heritage. Strike Industries was an airsoft company that started selling real steel gun parts. So you need to keep that in mind. Doesn't mean they can't be different. I mean, Glock sold freaking curtain rods. So I mean, you know, you just also know your history. I mean, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying make yourself aware sometimes of the company's history. And then what are you doing? Is this going to be your range Glock for you to have fun with? Cool. Is this going to be your carry Glock? Cool. But how do you test that? And I'm not saying your slide will break. I'm just saying buyer beware.
Yeah.
So not to detract from them, but if you're looking for a range Glock, last I checked, they may be done, but I'm pretty sure it's still going. Brownells has literally polymer 80s with their RMR cut slides for $299
And
right now.
what do you need?
So you get a poly 80 frame. Well, and yep, you still need a barrel and everything, and I've had one in my car and I've taken it out of my car and I put it back in my car and I take it out of my car. Put it back in my... If I don't need it, but I'm like, man. So if you're just looking for a toy, that may be another route. Now, again, Strike Industries may. I don't want to crap on them because I don't know much about them at all. I'm not going to talk about them like I talk about Springfield, because I don't know. But what I do know is that everything looks good. However, I don't like the universal cut, and they're not as well known in the industry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now we're going to move into something that I don't know if anybody really cares about, but Colt released the new King Cobra target model with an MSRP of $999.
Oh, I know what I forgot to look up. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay. So, it is 357 Magnum. The target model's 4.5-inch barrel, adjustable rear sight, elevated fiber optic front sight, custom wood medallion grips. Basically, it's the third model in Colt's reimagined King Cobra series. Of course, it is double action or double single. It's matte stainless. It's really, overall length is 9.25. It is their LL2 linear leaf mainspring design. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it does weigh 36 ounces. It doesn't say if it's loaded, unloaded. So it's another option in the revolver market. I kind of like them with. It looks like it's got like a kind of a full lug, but not a full lug. It looks like it's cut away a little more. I don't know. I mean, Colt really, in my opinion, hasn't really done much. Yeah, they reintroduced these, but I guess we have to wait and see if they're really worth what they say they're worth, in my opinion. Tony might have more to say on that.
All right, what I'm doing, of course, like a madman, is trying to look up the price on Smith & Wesson stuff, right? Because, I mean, that's the comparison, the 4-inch barrel target model. Well, I didn't even stop there. I went straight to Smith & Wesson Performance Center 686. The MSRP is $966, but it's a Performance Center gun. So it's already been smoothed out. It's been tuned by the Performance Center, has a chrome trigger with a trigger stop, teardrop hammer, unfluted cylinder, like speed release, vented rib. It's got all the cool guy stuff, and it's already been through their custom shop. What I'm finding with Colt is they're just making a bunch of half steps. You're freaking Colt. They should have come onto the scene with the revolvers like a big dog coming home, like kick in the door and throw everybody else off the porch. That's what they should have done when they came out with the Cobra, when they came out with that little 38. It was like, no, you should have just released a whole entire line of all your revolvers. Bring back the Python, bring back the King Cobra, bring back the Detector Special. They should have kicked in the door and just dragged all these people out by their ear. And this is like they're sticking a toe in the freaking water, like they're not sure if they even should sell revolvers anymore. I think Colts makes a lot of bad decisions. They dang near bankrupt every other year, and that's one of the reasons why. Bad decisions. And I think maybe this will work out. It's just the MSRP is kind of high.
Yeah, and I don't think, some people like the new Colt revolvers. I personally am like, I personally would probably buy Smith & Wesson if I'm spending this money, but that's me. Zane probably doesn't have anything to say because he's too young to even know what a revolver is. Oh, wait, he has one.
Where's the magazine go?
Where's the clipazine go?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I was checking them out and I'm like, so I went and looked it up, right? I'm looking up and I try to find reviews. Everybody does. And just one of the reviews I found, the guy was like, hey, the fit and finish on this isn't that great. He had the regular King Cobra, not the target model. But he was like, this is not really impressive for the amount of money I spent on this. So that's what I'm saying. Colt had a reputation, and they pooped on it for a little bit. That's all. They got to get back to where they were.
Yeah, exactly. So now comes the gun everybody else is talking about. It is not a revolver. It is the IWI Masada, and it is optics ready. Best part, in my opinion, about this is it is MSRP is $480. Good deal on it. We did talk about the Masada in episode 205, but because they're actually shipping and the optics ready is guaranteed now, as it never really said anything in the first version. But all the specs are the same. Combat style sights, fixed 3-dot tritium, does have 3 interchangeable wraparound back straps, all small, medium, large. It's got a large trigger guard, so you can use gloves if you need to. It's got ambidextrous operating controls, slide stop, magazine release. Both of them, not just, we can switch it back and forth. It is striker fired. It does have front and rear cocking serrations, supposedly low barrel access. That's debatable on everybody's. We don't care about the barrel, really. It is cold hammer forged, polygonal rifled, so don't shoot lead out of it. It is 17 plus 1 round magazines. It's got an interchangeable trigger system. It is 9mm. So there is that. The mounting plates, it uses a plate system, which we know how Zane feels about that. Let's see, I have some other articles, one in Recoil and one at All Outdoor, that go into a little more detail about them. It says basically the micro red dots, 4 polymer optic plates, RMR, Romeo, Venom, and Delta Point. So basically everything
that's
out there.
Huge red flag for me. The plates are made of polymer, and that's a solid pass.
If they were made from G10, I could almost see it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that's, I'm
not automatically opposed to a plate system. You know what I mean? Like,
what was that?
I prefer direct mounted. I'm not. Yeah, the agency one looks good. There's a couple other companies. I think the FN one looks decent.
Right.
But you're making your plates out of polymer? Now, maybe I'm that guy in 1983 who was like, you're making your guns out of polymer? So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. It happens. But I'm just, right now, that's a hard pass.
Until it's been proven, I can see that. I mean, I could see how it would be fine. I kind of see both sides of it. But yeah, it seems kind of strange that they wouldn't use like aluminum or something. But hey, if that's what they want to go with, it does have a 4.1-inch barrel that I forgot to mention.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, trigger pulls 5.5 to 7.5 is something they say. It does
Glock trigger.
I have picked one up, and it feels nice. The trigger it's a striker fired trigger. I didn't really pull it that many times, so but
so based on the pictures, the grip looks very slim. Without the back straps, it looks like a very small grip, which I like because I have tiny little girl hands.
Yeah, I have a little bit larger than girl hands, so. Though one of these
I have a little bit of girl hands, and so I can appreciate that.
And what I can appreciate more is if you look at the All Outdoor article, it has storage for a spare battery for your red dot in where the back straps go.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you're mounting it to a polymer plate, you're going to need it because you're going to kill your optic, pretty quick with it riding on polymer.
Not gonna
Well, It might help. I don't know. I like the look of the gun. I like the look of the grip looks smaller than so I despise a Gen 3 Glock just because of how big the grip is. I have little girl hands.
Now,
Whatever. So I like the smaller grip. The gun looks good. Everything looks fine on it. Again, reliability being the elephant in the room. We've talked about that many times in the past. Like, does it work? Does it not work? That's what we really care about. I do not like the plate system. I think that's utter garbage. So, but I think Glock's plate system is utter garbage, and I still am a huge fan of Glock, so it's not a deal breaker for me.
all right, so I'm rolling in on this, and I go, okay, one, Glock is the golden standard of striker fire pistols, but it is in no way the best of any issue out of the box striker fire pistol out there on the market. And what they did with the Masada is come in and just give it almost everything everybody wants. Ambidextrous controls, actual ambidextrous controls. A real Picatinny rail on the bottom, not that bastardized Glock, whatever. Undercut. It's got a high undercut. It's cut under like everybody wants. It looks to have a really good texture. It has a Glock trigger. Actually, from everybody who I listened to their reviews, they said it's better than a Glock trigger. Okay. But it really has almost everything. It has the front slide serrations. It has the plate system. I have no problem with the plate system because freaking 80% of the gun is polymer. Why would I care if a sliver of the gun is polymer? I figure IWI kind of sort of knows what they're doing since they're surrounded by people that want to kill them. I doubt if they make garbage guns. And as far as this, I don't know why they made a shorter barrel, but it makes no difference. It's like the Glock 19X or the Glock 45. So I think this is just another Glock. It is not a Glock killer, and I wish gun writers would stop being the lazy sons of bitches they are. Nothing is a Glock killer. Stop with the clickbait articles. Seriously. Nobody's impressed. You're the low-hanging fruit of gun writer.
100%. It ain't gonna kill Glock. It ain't. Glock's still gonna keep selling. And you kind of what you were talking about, Tony. You're going over what it's added. It's almost very similar to kind of like what Walther did, right? So Walther has a pistol that is like, oh, look, we have all the things that you add to your Glocks at just slightly lower than what Glock costs. So maybe they're onto something, But
Now,
again, I do not like the polymer plate system. I want the plate system in metal, but that's just me.
Two things I got.
The shorter barrel, don't care about the shorter barrel. Again,
Not really
because it's
makes a
optic
difference.
heavy. And even then, I don't care. 4-inch, 4.5-inch, 5-inch, whatever.
Well, my other thing is, okay, how do I put this? I checked out a bunch of reviews, and some of these guys I know personally, but understand the companies sent them those guns before they released them to the public. They're only going to be so critical of the gun because they want the next gun these people sent out. And that's just me talking. I could be wrong, and everybody could be honest as the day is long. But I don't see anything usually wrong with this. Remember what IWI did? They've cloned CZ75s with their Jericho series. What else? I know they did that. They did that well. This is a Glock, dude. They found all the good parts of a Glock and made it. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. I don't understand why they didn't give it a better trigger. They gave it a good enough trigger when they could have given it a better trigger.
I'm sure the trigger's fine.
And
the trigger's going to be fine for 99% of shooters.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody's been spoiled now. Everybody thinks they need an aftermarket trigger. I'm just saying. Of course the trigger's fine. The trigger on a Glock is fine. My other thing is their sights. Aftermarket, I really think they should have made it the Glock cuts for their iron sights, even on this, because that helps. And what holster does it take? If it takes Glock holsters, awesome. If they have to have their own holsters, that just means you have to go and get some other stuff. It is what it is, man. It's a new gun to the market.
Yeah, and so the big thing with holsters are, honestly, and it kind of sucks to say it, but one of the big things with holsters with a gun like this is, does Safariland make a holster for your gun? Because if not, nobody cares. Honestly. like if you're trying to get into that market, the police, the security, the duty style market, if Safariland doesn't make a holster for your gun, forget
Now,
it.
the good thing about this thing is optics ready, everything like we just finished talking about is still, I found it for like $535. So it beats just a regular Glock hands down, and it kicks the snot out of what is it, MOS in the pricing.
And
So
the thing is if it's not, if you're not married to a platform like Zane, if you're just looking for this style of pistol, then it may be a good option for you. I mean, like Zane said, it fits the way it fits my hand better than a lot of pistols. And like a Glock, any Glocks feel kind of bulky to me. I like the Polymer 80s because they feel better. But if you're not married to a platform, this is a great way to get an optics ready pistol that's probably going to be quite well designed.
So here's the thing with that, right? Like if you're not married to a platform like I am, I have 20 magazines, I have 97 holsters. At this point, I'm kind of a Glock guy. Like they could release, well, it doesn't matter. If you're not like dedicated to a platform and you're looking around going, what kind of gun should I get? There are so many good options out there, and this is potentially one of them. Especially if you're just a concealed carry guy and you're like, I'm never going to put my gun in a Safariland holster. What are you talking about? Why would I? Then there's a ton of Kydex benders out there that are making good holsters, and there's even more Kydex benders out there that are making crap holsters. So just be aware of that. But I don't think it should be overlooked. Again, the elephant in the room is going to be the reliability. I agree with Tony. I don't think they're going to release a crap product. But 10 years ago, if you would have asked me if I thought Springfield would release a crap product, I would have told you no also. And
I would have told you that 20 years ago they released crap product. I do have to say, the market is flooded. I think it's been like 3 shows since I've said this. We are in the golden age of firearms, man. How many striker-fired pistols are out there right now that, again, out of the box, are just as good as or better than a Glock? And we're talking from Walter. We're talking from CZ.
FN, M&P.
FN.
Smith & Wesson, M&P.
Smith & Wesson. Like all of these, dude. There was a time when pretty much if you wanted a semi-automatic pistol, and this is in my lifetime, you either got a 1911 or one of this double-stack Smith & Wessons. That was it.
Or a Beretta 92.
No. This is before that. Or a Browning high power and paid those prices for it. Those are pretty much the 3-gun. Beretta 92s and CZs were things that came from overseas, and you might be able to get one. But I'm talking about early 80s. It was still unusual. When Beretta got that contract, it was a big deal, but you didn't see them in stores. Not in 83, 84, 85.
Nope.
And now we have as many friggin' manufacturers. I mean, dude. I mean, even what's that thing made from Turkey that they paid everybody money to like, and they still turned out to be pretty good. Yeah, the Canik. That's even a good gun. They've improved the heck out of that since the first one, and now their Elite series is off the chain, huh?
But is it?
But it's the trigger's awesome. Everybody I talk to, actual real people that don't get a check, I haven't had a complaint about it, and these are dudes that actually take classes and run guns.
I don't know. A lot of people get a check from them, but that's
man. When are we going to start?
No, I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm talking people that actually bought their Canik.
We pride ourselves on not getting checks from people because you'll know if we start getting checks from people because I'll be on here going, you know what I like? I think a Springfield XP is the greatest pistol in the whole world. That's how you know when we start getting checks.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
No, I think the very best Springfield Armory pistol was that polymer double action, single action that they just came out with in 2016. Great idea. And I think having grip zone written up and down the side just totally makes sense on every level.
Exactly.
So I guess we'll get rid. We're done. We're done talking about stuff. I think. Well, nope. I thought he passed out. There was some listener feedback, but I forgot to look it up and put it in the show notes because, well, that's what kind of host you're dealing with today. So, Tony, tell us about the Second Is for Everyone diversity shoots, if you would, please.
All right. Hey, listen. Second Is for Everyone diversity shoot is the Second Amendment workshop, and what we do is introduce people from all backgrounds to firearms owners, and the Second Amendment advocacy groups in a inclusive environment where you're not going to be yelled at. You can ask questions and we can talk. This last diversity shoot was actually the first one that happened after a mass shooting, and I took the opportunity to talk to people about having the conversation that so many people beg for post tragedy. And I'm like, yeah, there should be a conversation because the news is screaming one thing and you need to talk to people face to face and have talking points, not just bumper sticker logos. And it was really cool because a lot of people probably didn't think of that because you're used to being yelled at. So it was cool. We met a bunch of people, introduced them to firearms, again, had them shooting a 50 BMG by the end of the day. So it was a lot. I have no idea where Zane is going, but he is so trashed. He is so trashed. So if you want to donate to the good work we do, you can go to diversityshoot.com, where you can purchase a t-shirt. You can donate to our PayPal. You can donate to the GoFundMe. And if you're a $20 and above patron on Patreon, somebody $20 and above will be receiving a CZ P10 from the Yankee Marshal next month. So please join at that $20 and above level. Help us out. That helps us fund these diversity shoots and pay for pizza. It was like $185 for pizza last Thursday. So I'm just saying it takes a lot of the stress off me when we host these events to know I'd have a steady stream of income going into them. So I'm not sweating the small stuff. All right. Again, diversityshoot.com to help us out. You can buy our t-shirts at 1022 Clothing, but we still have a link at diversityshoot.com. So please go there, check out our videos, check out what we do, listen to our podcast, 2A4E podcast. We even have that on diversityshoot.com. Along with this show, we have a link for this show too on diversityshoot.com. So, hey, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah. And Tony, somebody in the chat wanted to know if they can volunteer time.
Yes. Yeah, I know. He's in West Virginia now.
Well, it's just a drive.
They wild in the chat. They talking about Springfield's don't suck in the chat and ask him I'm passed out. They getting wild over there.
Where's am I saying?
Am I breaking up or just what?
No, you're not breaking up. You're just
you're fine. We'll get into the wrap-up section now. So, if you don't want to listen anymore, you can just shut it off like everybody does. Send questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe and maybe leave us an iTunes review. We will probably read it on the show if you do. Check out all the other great shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. Be sure to visit the Firearms Insider so you can see reviews. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Firearms Insider. Thank you for listening to the largest pound for pound podcast on the network. And Zane is out.
Hey, if you really want to volunteer, hit me up on diversityshoot.com, Tony at diversityshoot.com. If we're still there.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop this.